Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the State of the Empire. Today's episode is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Wondering what gives Dallas the Empire fuel to compete during our season? It's Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box offers the perfect snacks to eat while gaming, like their tiny tacos, stuffed jalapenos, curly fries, egg rolls, or the Empire favorite, their nuggets. Find your nearest Jack in the Box location on their website using this link and get a free Jumbo Jack on Jack today by texting JackHack to 43972. So yeah, T-minus 15 days before our tournament, playoffs, the big tournament of the year, Call of Duty Championships, whatever you want to call it. It's the big one, the one that we really want to win. We've qualified second, as most of you know by now. We will play the winner of London against Toronto / and then the winner of that plays Florida. So some good adversaries potentially. London, a team that's shown some strengths this year, had a good event in the mid part of the year, got second. Kind of been up and down. Toronto won the last event very closely, but did beat us and then beat FaZe, so we have to obviously count them as a threat. And then Florida, who's won 2 events and plays really well throughout the year. We've had some success against them as of late, so I think we kind of figured them out. But who knows, if they show something new potentially for the playoffs. And the good news is that we get to watch them play one match before we play whoever we play. We'll have some kind of good scouting on our end to really see how that's going to look. So that's really kind of like my job for now as a coach, is to really prepare my team, making sure that we clean up the small mistakes that we've been doing. I've been talking about this all year, and it's never ending. Even after champs, there's potentially some stuff that we could have cleaned up. That's just kind of how Call of Duty works. That you're never, or even just gaming and esports in general, you're never really going to play perfect on a given notice. So just got to hope that our game is clean enough and the boys are playing well enough at the time of the tournament, and we peak at the right time. I've been talking about peaking all year. This is the peaking. This is where it matters the most. So really hoping that everything kind of pans out to where we can solidify our status as the best team this year and win the biggest tournament of the year. We're 10 maps away, technically, with 2 best of 5 series and a best of 9, away from winning a large sum of money and hopefully getting me a ring. I really want that ring. I'm super excited with that potential hopefully happening. But yeah, guys are looking good these days. We're scrimming. The fire is there every day we play, which is something that to me is super important. The guys know the importance of every inch of practice that we have between now and the big tournament. I believe we're probably going to take we're taking Sunday off, and we're probably going to take another day off between that and the tournament. But really kind of aggressive scrim schedules kind of moving forward right now. We don't want to let up. So anytime we're not practicing and another team's practicing is a time where they can get better than we are. So we really don't want to let that happen. The guys are all playing 10s, staying really active with their play and really trying to figure out everything we need to figure out to be in the best position possible to win the tournament that really counts. So not much changes kind of to talk about per se on our style of play or anything. I feel like we have a good recipe for success. Our map pool is probably the strongest in the league, if not really close to being the strongest. We're practicing really hard. Actually, we're putting a lot more reps in search for those who are wondering. So we're really trying to kind of make our search pool as strong as our respawn pool for champs, so that when it comes down to it, we kind of figure, we know what maps people are going to pick against us. Granted, we're trying to get good at every map, but we have an idea of what maps are going to play against what team, so on and so forth, because of how the veto process has gone. And if they want to throw a curveball, we'll be ready for it, because obviously our map pool is super strong, and that's what we're trying to build towards. So just excited really for the potential of what this tournament can bring to our team and to our fans. Really just, it's been a while I felt like this. Obviously it felt good throughout the year. My first event back was a live event, so it was really exciting and getting back into it. But there's nothing quite like champs and really kind of the big tournament at the end of the year, regardless if it's online or not. Everyone who can bring up the point, there's going to be an asterisk on this because it's not LAN. But nah, it's a big tournament. Everyone's competing to win this thing at their utmost highest level of competition. So there's no doubt in my mind that this will go down in history as one of the better events, just because the strain of competition this year is so strong. I mean, we talked about, every time I made a video like this, we talked about how certain teams were close to getting there, or kind of close to getting top 4, and some teams that were in the top 4 kind of dropped down a little bit, and so on and so forth. And now you look at the bracket, and there's 6 different teams that won tournaments this year. And I would say probably 7 of those are playing more or less at their best right now. So it's just kind of like crazy, really, kind of the potential of what this tournament brings. Typically in the past, you look at champs and you're like, okay, you kind of pinpoint like 2, 3, maybe 4 teams that realistically have a good chance of winning champs. And even then, you're kind of like reaching for 3 or 4. So this year, I can honestly tell you guys that there's, I would assume that, like, granted, you would pick like the few top teams that have won the most events this year as kind of the favorites, but still, I wouldn't like. I feel like the level of competition is the closest it's been in a long time. So it's exciting, but it's also kind of like a little stressful because we have to make sure we're on our game against any team we play. We start late enough in the bracket to where, like, obviously every match counts, but like the matches that we're going to be in obviously count for a lot more because you're so close to getting to that kind of spot to be in the winners. Like, you want to make it to the winners final and you want to win the winners finals. That's really kind of the most important part, given the advantage you get in the finals being pretty big. So we're excited for that. Again, the drive, if anyone's kind of curious about the drive of the guys right now, it's definitely not what's missing. If anything, we might be like trying a little too hard sometimes, but I'd much rather see us on that side of the spectrum than on the side of like kind of just nonchalantly going about our business and just playing every day and just play to play. But no, there's a very strong will to really kind of focus on the things we need to kind of focus on to do well at champs. I said focus twice there. That was pretty incredible. But yeah, I don't want to ramble too much. But yeah, the guys are looking good. We're actually doing really well in scrims. So I'm kind of like treating, like, for those who are curious about how I'm handling this as a coach, and like I'm really trying to like bring the scrims to a point where it's not necessarily about like Baba. Sorry, my dog was dingling his collar. Hey, buddy. But yeah, like really kind of the point I want to make here is like the importance for those who are coaching their teams and whatnot. I feel like there's a certain stage of a season where it's important to practice and not necessarily to compete. And the two differences on that I can speak of really quick. In my opinion, there's practicing to where you're really trying to focus on small things, or not really small things. You're trying to practice on big things and really focus on kind of how you want to handle certain situations in the map. And then there's also practice to where you're more focusing on the aspects of competing and really make sure that the scrims you're playing feel like as close to as possible as actual matches. And granted, we go through this kind of stages through the year. Like when we get close to a tournament, we kind of do that. Like the few days before, we try and sorry, dog. We kind of try and practice to a stage where we feel like we're playing our best and really kind of in a competitive spirit going into the tournament. But like, I think we're reaching this point way earlier than we have in the past going to the last event of the year. And I really want the guys to feel like every day, because like typically we go into a tournament and we can afford to lose a match or two. Like, I mean, not two, but like we can afford to lose a match in the pool play section. So we can, I mean, granted, it's not that lenient, but like you kind of don't have to come out firing. But like the first match we're playing is a super important match, just as every match we're going to play in the champs tournament. So the playoff event. So yeah, it's like, it's really trying to make sure that my guys, the team comes in with the highest level of competitive juice going right into it, to where we don't have these slow starts that we've had this year, and really make sure that we're kind of ready to go and firing all cylinders from the get-go. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, I look at the comments. There wasn't that many questions. I was thinking about doing a Q&A today, but there wasn't that many questions in previous videos. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Looking forward to talking to you guys again next week. Probably do something different next week, as probably like second last video of the year. To talk about COD, or at least Modern Warfare and whatnot, the season. So looking forward to maybe talking to one of the players. If you guys have a player that you want to request, or if some element, discussion, topic you want me to talk about, feel free to kind of post in the chat and the comments, and I will do my best to read and try and make that video that way. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Peace.